Hi there. In this video I'm covering how to write and publish a book step by step. My name is Dan Good and I've written or ghostwritten more than 30 books, including 4 national bestsellers, using the tips in this video. If you're overwhelmed by the book writing process or just need a little bit of clarity, this video could be perfect for you. By the end of this video, you will learn the importance of purpose and planning, some writing tips to guide you forward, and how to choose the best publishing path for your book. And stay tuned until the end of the video for an opportunity I really think you're going to enjoy. Let's dive in. This video covers 8 steps, and the first step is purpose. You need to have a purpose to want to write the book. What is the goal that you want to have? Be honest, be open with yourself. Don't try to sugarcoat it. If you want to become famous and rich and you want to make a lot of money on leads and generate interest for your business, if you want to get better speaking engagements, if you want to create a legacy project for your family, if you want to just write a book to say you did it, no matter what it is, be clear about it. Be honest. Be honest with yourself, because the more honest you can be with yourself and tapping into your purpose, the more likely it is that you're going to keep going. You're going to want it because of that thing that you want to accomplish at the end. It's not just about the book, it's about accomplishing this bigger goal. And if you can be honest and clear about that bigger goal, it's going to help motivate you when you face challenges and struggles and insecurities and doubts along the way. The second step is planning. Plan this out. I think a lot of people take on projects and just kind of wing it and say, okay, we'll see what happens. I don't want you to do that. I want you to plan. Think about how this book fits within the marketplace and how it stands out from every other book out there. Do some research. Figure out what other books are in your space that are going to be compared to yours. How is your book different? How is it better? How does it fill a gap that other books don't fill? In order to be successful with your book, you need to understand how your book is different, how it stands out, how it fills that gap in the marketplace. Otherwise, it's going to feel like every other book out there. You don't want your book to be like every other book out there. So do the research, look at other books in this space, look at Amazon and ChatGPT to find out where other books are and how your book stands out. How is it different? And also within planning, understand what you need to be able to succeed with this book. Is it going to require a lot of research and interviews? Is it just you taking your stories from your mind and putting them onto the page? If you understand what that looks like, what that process looks like to be able to succeed with this book, you're going to, again, have more success with it. So do some planning, do some research, and figure out what's in store, what's ahead for you. The third step is foundation. Before you write a single word, I want you to focus on 3 things: hook, audience, and outline. Your book's hook is your reader takeaway and how they're going to carry this forward with them. What is your message distilled down to a single sentence? How is somebody going to learn from this and carry this forward in their life? If you can't explain that, you have a problem. So you need to be able to tap into what your message and takeaway is and synthesize it down to a single sentence. Audience. Who is your book's audience? And no, it is not everybody. Please don't think your book is for everybody, because if your book is for everybody, it's for absolutely nobody. Who is your specific audience? What is the background? Why are they interested in this topic? What kind of media do they consume? What education level do they have? What reading level? All those things matter, because if you don't have the right reading level for your book, it's going to frustrate and annoy the people who are supposed to be reading it. If you write to a level that's too high or too low for them, they're going to either feel discouraged because you're writing above them or discouraged because you're writing below them. You need to meet them where they are. This is about meeting your audience where they are. You need to think about how your audience connects to this book, because even if the writing process is for us, the writer, the reading process is for the reader. It's for somebody else's benefit. And outlining is crucial too. Outlining is that third step of the foundation elements, and you need to outline the book in order to make the writing process more efficient, more effective, and move forward in clarity. I love the idea of outlining, having a basic outline, understanding what you want that's inside and outside the frame of the book. So then you write a book based on that. You focus on writing the elements that are in those chapters, in the structure, and you really just have everything lined up. It's just easy. It's so easy to be able to put even a simple outline together and have that as a a roadmap for you, help your journey forward. It just makes it so much easier. After you've done all the purpose work and all the research and all the foundation work, it's time to get writing. The writing part is obviously the thing. When we're thinking about writing a book, there's so many things that you can do to make the writing process more efficient, but then ultimately it's up for you to write. You have to do the writing. A lot of times people don't like sitting behind the keyboard. They can actually speak into an audio recorder and use that audio to make voice-to-text transcription. And now you have words. You could go for a walk or a drive, and now you automatically have thousands of words to work with. I love doing that. I do that all the time with my writing. I think it's great. It helps you write conversationally and to maintain your voice when you're talking for words. So that's one step. The other thing that I want you to keep in mind is it's not always about the time that you have to devote to the book, but about the focus that you have to devote to the book. If you only have half an hour or an hour every day to work on your book, make that half an hour or an hour as focused as possible. Maybe you only have time once a week. Whatever the case may be, focus. Block out distractions. Turn off your notifications on your phone, because every time that you're getting distracted, it's taking you out of your focus. You need to find the time to focus, whether it's at night, in the morning, for a block of time during the day on Tuesdays. Whatever the case may be. It could be on the train ride. It could be during transportation time. When I worked in New York City and I would take the Metro North train to and from work every day, I had 35 minutes between getting on the train to getting off the train. And during that time, I wrote for 35 minutes. I sat down, opened my computer, and just started typing. I didn't make it great. I didn't make it clean. I just wrote. That's the way to get writing done. Writing sprints and focus time is going to help you make the most of your time. I know how busy it is to write books and juggle parenting and personal life and all those things, work, everything. It's tough. But if you can focus, even just a little bit every single day, you can write a book. Once you get through writing, the next thing is editing. My friend Chad, he's a great writer and writing coach, and he focuses on a dirty draft. That first draft is a dirty draft. Your draft is not going to be perfect, and that's okay. It shouldn't be perfect. It's a draft. It's going to require some effort to get ready to publish. That's why you need editing help. And this isn't just about getting your kid brother or, the neighbor down the street to help read your book and tell you what's right and wrong about it. It's about working with professionals who know the space, who understand writing a book and editing a book and having text that sings. You want your book to sing. You want your message to be completely clear. When I think about editing, I focus on 3 steps. Developmental or content edit, which is the 30,000-foot view, story level. Do the stories flow? Are they redundant? Do they make sense? Copy edit. Copy edit's next, And that's really focused on the sentence level and making sure the phrasing and making sure the tone, they're all clear, Is this the right word to use here? Is this the right word choice? Is the punctuation consistent? All those things are so important for a copy edit. And proofreading is the next step. This is really what catches everything else. You want as many rounds of editing as you can to make it as strong as possible. And you want to work with editors who understand the space, who have worked on other books before, who have succeeded at this. By working with good editors, you're going to have a better product. And I know it costs money. It can cost money to work with high-quality editors. If you have the money, that's a good safety net, especially if you rush through the writing process. You're going to want to work with people to help you refine your message and your story to make it as strong as possible, because the stronger your message, the better the impact's going to be at the end. After the words are edited, production comes next. Production's all about laying out the book. What's the cover look like? What does the interior design look like? There's some really important decisions that have to be made, and you want to make this really stand out for the reader to pick it up and say, wow. Obviously, there's some books that are very straightforward with their design work, but if you have the capability or you have the resources or the connections, or you can find somebody to help you with that work, it can really elevate your book. It can take it to that next level and make people more likely to want to collaborate, work with you, whatever the case may be, or just pick up your story and want to read it. So production's so important. A lot of people overlook it. Don't overlook that step, because that's really the entryway for a lot of people. They're going to look at the book, they're going to flip it open and see what it looks like. And you want them to be wowed. Step 7 is publication. It's so exciting to publish a book. You need to figure out where you're publishing it, get the right price point, figure out how you're sharing this message. It could be on your website, it could be on Amazon, it could be on other platforms. Another thing to keep in mind with publishing too is that there's really 2 tracks. If you traditionally publish and you go through a literary agent and a publisher, you can get wider visibility on your book, but you kind of give away some of the ownership and authority of it, because you don't get to make all those decisions yourself. If you self-publish, there's less gatekeeping, there's less things getting in your way. You have to fund some of those steps out of pocket, the editing and the production work, but you take ownership of everything and you get to keep a higher percentage of royalties once the book is published. So it's important to think about what track is right for you, but self-publishing is fun. Self-publishing is easy, and it requires so much ownership and authority from the author. Most of the books that I've worked on have been self-published, and some of them have sold tens of thousands of copies. It's nice to be able to get in the bookstores. It's nice to be able to have a big media blitz behind your release, but at the same time, so be it. You can still have a successful book by self-publishing, but it's important to consider those 2 options and choosing the one that's best for you. Step 8, now that you've done all this work, you've written, edited, designed, published the book, now you get to promote it. Promotion is such an important step in this process, and I think a lot of times people overlook it. What does book promotion look like? And it's not about selling as many copies as you can, it's about having an impact with each copy sold. It's about helping the reader take a journey, and it's so valuable to be able to promote the book in the right ways, to promote the book in ways that are going to, generate years of visibility and attention to this, that are going to get people excited to work with you. They're going to help people learn more about you and who you are and what you stand for and, what you provide, what services and offerings you provide. There's so much that you can do on the promotion side to put your book in the right places to succeed. And the answer isn't always just dumping money into a campaign to become a bestseller. It's really something bigger than that. It's deeper than that. It's really understanding, what your book's message is, and it goes back to all the beginning. What's the purpose for this? How is this book helping you take that next step for you? How does this fit into your journey? By connecting your book with other services and offerings you have, you can turn this book into a lead magnet and a revenue generator for years to come. You can use this book as a platform to grow your speaking engagements, your interview requests, your opportunities as a CEO or thought leader. There's so many things that you can do with this book, and it's important as you start to really figure out what that thing is, and then as you finish the book and promote it and publish it, to keep carrying forward in that direction so you can find the success that you're looking for, to make all of this worth it, to make this book struggle and this book journey have the outcome that you wanted. You don't want this to be a disappointment. You really want to follow through on those things and see this through all the way to all of its successes. If you can follow those 8 steps, you're going to be well on your way to finding book success. If you want to learn more about how to write and publish a book step by step, there's an accountability course that I'd love to invite you to. It's my Good Book Accountability course. I created it just for authors like you to help other authors to take this step and take this journey for themselves. To learn more about it, go to my website. It's goodbookmastery.com. You can click the link below and check out the course and see if you're interested in joining up. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.